taking big shots. Just stop where I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, but I told him this a chip shot.
Wait till you behold, Tiara leads the way, shining like a star. With Ron and Tiffany, they gon' raise the bar. Soulful rhythms, we're here to inspire.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Ron.
And we are back today for another recap of Reasonable Doubt. This is season 3, episode 7, titled Lost One. But before we get started with the conversation, please make sure you subscribe to our channel, like this video, and click that notification bell so you get alerted whenever we post. Also, be sure to follow us on all social media platforms at The Spot Real Talk. And while you're at it, invite your friends and family to view us as well, because we got a good conversation today with Reasonable Doubt. This episode 7 definitely revealed a lot of stuff in terms of Jax's background, her upbringing, her family dynamic. A lot of stuff kind of makes sense as to why Jax is the way she is. So not too much on Ozzy's trial. Ever since Jax, well, really, the first scene we got this episode is her getting the news about what kind of cancer it is. And, you know, Eddie and Lewis are sitting there telling her that it's colon cancer, and that, you know, Mama Lou didn't really want to tell Jax because she didn't want to interfere with the trial, which I get from a mother's perspective, trying to not add a burden onto your child while they're dealing with this, you know, major case. But also it's like, sheesh, like to see Mama Lou's perspective and how she was planning on keeping this thing under wraps from Jax the entire time. Anything could have happened, and Jax would have never had that closure or had a chance to talk to her mom in those last few moments. Or I just think that was a mistake on Mama Lou's end. What say y'all?
Well, if not a mistake, I think it was a lack of, if you will, a lack of concern about how Jax is going to take it. Because like you said, had she died, Jax would have been destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it would have been better had she just told her when she found out and sat her down and they discussed things and let Jax kind of get involved. Because from what I saw, Mama Lou was just simply, literally kind of taking her out of the whole picture. Didn't want to drive to the doctor's office. She drove, and then Jax followed. Jax wanted second opinions, and she didn't want to be bothered with that, which I can understand. You know, it is her body, her life.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it would have been probably more advantageous for Jax if she was able to get involved a little more.
Yeah. Tiff, thoughts?
Whole lot. This episode really hit home for me because I was Jax in the situation with my own mom who went through the cancer battle. So I had to do the taking over and this, that, and the other. And I also found out about stuff late and everything. And my mom wasn't forthcoming about things and stuff too. They want to do things their way. It's their body and stuff. So even though I helped a lot and I managed things, I also, you know, made sure like I respected her decisions with certain things. Like I would talk to her and ask her about certain things, but I didn't try to force her to do what I wanted her to do. Like I had conversations and I gave her, you know, the pros and cons and this, that, and the other, but ultimately she was and wanted to be in control of her treatment and stuff. So I understood where Jax was coming from, even the anger at times and stuff. Even that, and even like the situation with Eddie. Eddie was trying to help and everything and stuff. You know, our parents divorced young, but during that time when my mom was sick, there was a time that my dad came down to visit me, and he was like, "You need help. This is a lot," and he stepped in like Eddie to help too. So I thought that was like I said, I could relate a whole lot
Yeah,
to this episode.
I figured you would be able to. And you know, with Jax, it's like she's so used to being in control and she's used to having that final say that when her mom stood her ground, Jax really had no choice. You know, she was like, what can I do at this point? You know, and I think it's the way that Jax is finding out the information that's really bothering her because she's finding out from other people. She found out from Eddie and Lewis about the cancer. And then she found out from her dad that he had power of attorney. And Jax is like, well, wait, when did this happen? And she's just really frustrated by that how she's finding out. But also the fact that Eddie hasn't been there in decades, like literal decades. And then you come out the blue and now you have all of this authority over these very serious decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the jury is still out on Eddie as far as they're concerned. You know, we don't know where you stand in your sobriety, whether you really are on what well, Jax thinks based on last episode that he's 5 years sober. We still don't know the truth about that.
I
But go ahead, Ron.
I'm sorry. Were you done?
No, I was just saying, I think it's how information is being relayed that's really bothering Jax.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. But on the Eddie side or perspective, we saw toward the end the relationship that Eddie and Mama Lou had.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and sometimes, even though you're divorced, sometimes you can be very, best friends. Sometimes the divorce doesn't necessarily mean the end.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever they have, it's quite strong, apparently, because Mama Lou put a lot on Eddie in that regard. She could have leaned on Jax, but she chose to lean on her ex-husband. And I don't see a problem with that. I guess being, looking at it from one side, but I think that I think that it's a difficult thing to say. Should Eddie have said something sooner to Jax, and the two of them sat down and put their heads together? I don't know because Jax has this thing about Eddie. So as far as her mother's concerned, her mother is making choices, like you said, Tiffany. Her mother is making choices that she believes is best for her. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when we don't understand why those choices are made, we do have to make amends and say, hey, it's her life. This is what she wants. It's no reflection on me. It's just that this is what she wants. So
Yeah.
on that note, I believe that her decision to involve her ex-husband was a good one to me. From what I saw at the end, I thought
Yeah.
they were, and in fact, if I must say, we haven't gotten there yet, but I must say that I believe Jax may have had um, an epiphany, if you will, about their relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that with the Eddie situation, I think that like you said, Mama Lou and Eddie obviously have something beyond, you know, the issues in their relationship. I think that when it comes down to it, there is still love there. There is still a level of I trust you to do these things. But something Eddie said kind of stood out to me. He was saying that your mom has always tried to protect you. He was talking to Jackson, saying that, you know, her putting the burden on me is a way of protecting you. And he was saying, you know, she wants me to have to call those shots because she obviously she doesn't want that guilt or whatever to fall on you,
Absolutely.
especially since she had like a do not resuscitate and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like could and Jax was questioning Eddie on if he would be able to carry it out, but the real question is would Jax be able to carry it out? You know, and I think that's why Mama Lou put that burden on
Mm-hmm.
Eddie to do instead of Jax.
Yeah. Mama knows best. Hmm.
Mm-hmm. And good point. And the other thing is that you don't realize, like you as a child, like Jax and stuff, you're like, oh, this is happening to me. This is my mom and stuff. But then when you think about, like, when it got to the point when my mom actually passed, I was devastated. But when I saw how my father reacted,
Mm,
I was like, whoa, like, because he was devastated too. And I got to see that, wow, this was my mom, but this used to be his wife and stuff. And so it was a whole new level of respect
mm-hmm.
and everything. And it, it just made me more introspective about that. Like, wow, like I'm not the only one grieving here, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, and I thought that it was a good thing that Jackson her dad did actually have that conversation, because we kind of seen a lot of the background. So we had
Mm-hmm.
these little flashbacks in the past where we see little Jax growing up. The first one is her trying to mess around with her daddy's guitar stuff, and he obviously has some drugs in there, so he's yelling at her to not go in there, and he hurt her little feelings. But he later, went back and apologized after he had his medicine.
Right.
And so we kind of see that there's like that complex relationship beginning from there, where he's kind of scolds her for that. And then we seen it again at the playground where she's kind of mimicking what she's seen him doing, which I was like, look.
I was like, poor thing. I was like, oh my gosh. She was sitting there showing the other kids, and they're like, that's cool. I was like, oh my gosh.
And it's odd, like kids pick up on everything they see.
Everything.
Jax watched him as he did the line off the guitar, and then there she is imitating it at the playground. And of course, Mama Lou sees it and is fired up.
I would
Rightly
have been
so.
too.
Rightly so.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like that complicated part of being an addict that began there, because sometimes your love and concern for your family is not enough to overcome that addiction. And we see that he put that addiction first. He came banging back at the hotel door in another scene, trying to win them back over. But, it was clear that he still wasn't, over his habit.
Mm-mm.
Which is why, Mama Lou stood her ground. And it was like he was definitely playing on Jax's love for him. Like
Mm-hmm.
he knew that she was a daddy's girl, that she was always loved, concerned for her father. And
Mm-hmm.
and he played on that, which I was like, that's a terrible thing to do to a kid.
It is.
It's terrible. So we got a very big glimpse into why Jax has such resentment for her father not being there. And I think in the final scene, he came back over and he was telling her he had a surprise for her. But he ended up going into the kitchen and finding a little stash that he had hidden and doing the drugs and overdosing.
Mm.
Which, Jax had no idea what was going on, but Mama Lou found him or whatever. And so it's kind of like that final scene, I think, is what kind of did it, because when Jax came in and seen him, Mama Lou sent her to the room or whatever, and they were the aftermath of that is that they were going to move with a relative. But Jax is asking all these questions like, "Oh, where's Daddy going? And what's going to happen? And this and that." And she's just asking a ton of questions. But I think from that point on, that the relationship was severed. I don't think she's seen him for a while, probably after that final overdose. And so she kind of was left with the impression that her dad went away to work on himself but never returned. So I think that resentment over the years, like, why would you abandon me?
And I
She
think,
doesn't have the full scope of the
right,
the incident.
right. And I think partly because um, Mama Lou, she explained it to, let's say, a 6-year-old the way you could explain it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that children hold on to things so tightly. Like when she was expecting her dad to come back, Mama Lou, I think, knew he wouldn't.
Yeah.
Would be quite a while before he does. So I can imagine the pain that the
Mm-hmm.
6-year-old child, this teenager, this young woman must have gone through, never really fully understanding why the abandonment happened.
Yep.
So I now understood better the resentment because
Mm-hmm.
because of that 6-year-old child that's still in her.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I said, okay, now it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I learned a lot about Eddie too, and I'm just
Yes.
hoping, and I'm really hoping that whatever this secret is, that is not so mind-blowing that uh
Yeah.
that
That.
Jack and her dad can't get over it, because I still don't see an addict in him. His face doesn't look like it, his body doesn't look like it. I just don't see an addict. I saw more of an addict in his younger days
Yeah.
than I
Yeah.
do now. So I'm
Yeah.
Something's going on because
something
you
is.
see, Lewis is still.
I
Lewis is
know,
like,
Lewis.
you better tell her, or
I'm
I
tired of Lewis.
am.
Yeah.
I'm tired of Lewis. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Lewis, your parents are going through the same thing. And
Mhm.
and this is another thing. You all up in Eddie's business, and your mom and dad are I don't know if they're divorced or
We're
divorced.
separated.
Separated.
They're separated, but they're still living their lives. They still enjoy one another. And I hope that he understands what Mama Lou and Eddie are going through. So
But we don't know. Daniel told Lewis something. So
Hmm.
Lewis now knows whatever it is, the bad news that Eddie is being deceitful. And
no,
so that's another reason why he's beefing. That hasn't come out yet. And I think that Eddie used that Mama Lou's illness so he wouldn't have to come clean.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned about Lewis, if that man was selling chicken wings on the corner, he'd be upset with that. I don't know how bad it is, and we never saw what Daniel actually saw. He only saw those
right,
two
that's
girls.
what I'm saying. We don't know yet. So as time unfolds, we'll find out what it is.
I'm thinking it could either be something financial or legal. Like maybe he needs access to Jax, either her resources or finances or her legal help somehow to get him out of some kind of pinch he's in.
Yeah,
Or maybe he's
yeah.
homeless, or something to that effect. I'm just hoping that it's nothing so so destructive that she can't make amends with her dad because
Me too.
this is
Yeah.
this is a pivotal point in their relationship with mom being sick and you now understanding a little more about your dad, and of course, um, even understand the pick that you thought your dad left you.
Oh, that I would have been torn up if I was Jax.
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
she
And
held on to that thing, thinking it meant something to him to give her that, thinking that it was a little gift that he left behind, the surprise.
Yeah.
but that's another example of how Mama Lou had been trying to protect her. And it made me look at Mama Lou a lot too, because before we were putting her on the hands list, we said she interfered, this, that, and the other and stuff. And now we see that what Mama Lou did to try to hold Jax down. The Where she fell short, though, of course we know with the stepfather, she
Yeah.
didn't, but I think that she really did all that she could to try to protect Jax in that situation with her father.
Yeah, yeah. I think that with that whole pick situation, I think that that would have been a huge letdown if I was in her spot to have this, holding on to this thought that this came from my father. And so I thought that maybe that would kind of hinder her feelings towards Eddie. But we seen like after the surgery was successful and whatnot, she went up and hugged him or whatever.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, maybe she just let it go and, realized that it was really her mom protecting her. And he was saying, that was who I was back then. So he's trying to emphasize that he has changed. And I think she's hinging her hopes on that change.
If it,
It's skip. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, but if it were me, I would not have said to her, that was your mom who gave you. I kept that one out of that story.
Oh,
Was
see. So
I,
you
no,
going so you gonna
whatever,
take credit when credit
whatever.
is not
No,
due?
no. Call it what you might. Call it what you might. But I'm just simply saying she'd have died thinking that I gave her that.
That see. Look
But
at that. Look at that.
what's the
Taking
harm?
credit.
It is not vindictive. It's not meant to harm. I'm just
An
saying.
omission is a lie.
Well, of course, they're good lies and bad ones. I
Oh,
mean,
a lie is a lie.
everybody lies, and that's just been one I had on the books. Okay, check me, Lord, when I get to heaven. But that'd have been a lie. I'd have been left on the books. Okay, because she had a certain feeling about it, and I'm like, I'd have peeped that feeling and said, okay, if you think that it was gave it to you, we
That
cool.
was humility though for him to
Mhm.
give it up and tell the truth. So that to your point about him not looking like he's still an addict. I mean, because when they go through those steps, they gotta atone, they
Yep.
gotta fess up to mistakes and repent and all that stuff. So I was like, the fact that he owned up and said, hey, that was your mom
Hmm.
saying that and stuff, I said that let me know. I was like, that's some growth there.
A
And
lot of growth
I
because, like
agree.
you said, Ron, he could have let her believe that, but the fact that he said something, I think that shows a lot of character on his end
Yes.
because you are actually like seeing how Jax held on to that and had some sentimental value attached to it. to let her down right in the moment and not try to revisit it later or lie to her altogether. Saying something in that moment after she just told you how much that thing meant to her, I think took a huge amount of courage.
But like you said,
And
though, but like you said, now, and I didn't question you, but you said that you would have been hurt had you found out that it was the other way around. Do you mean you would have been hurt in the latter years with as being Jackson now?
Yeah. Knowing
yeah.
the truth.
That's been the whole reason
Why he would have kept his mouth shut.
But to know that the truth was going to hurt her feelings and to still tell her the truth
I
says
think
a
I
lot
would,
to me.
well, sometimes, things just slip out, but I mean, it's not to say that I wouldn't
He
have.
told the truth.
I think I would have, what I would have done, I'd have let you believe whatever you want to believe until we got good. And then when we got good,
Nah, that might have made it worse, Ron.
That might have been, yeah, but like, you lied to my face. So
Yep.
I ain't
see,
lying to your
no.
face. I just didn't tell you. Look, as far as I'm
Omission is
concerned,
a lie.
whatever. So count
Yeah.
my character, but I'm just saying, I don't want, look, I'm trying to get home. I'm trying to get with you. I'm trying to get you back. I don't know if I'd have let that one thing, because that's a big thing. That was a big thing in her
But
life.
that builds character. That
Yep.
lets me know
Too
that
old to be
okay,
building
yeah,
character.
that
Whatever
it
character I
does.
got,
It builds character. She could say, "Oh, my father has changed." Like he was straight up. He could have said, stood on that lie, but
Mm.
he chose to speak up. So that can make her have like, because one of the things that got me was when they were waiting, when the doctor wanted to speak to them and they were all running, I was like, oh Lord, I was like, please don't let him come in here with bad news and stuff. Cause I was waiting to see, looking at Jackson's face, it was hard to see like what news they got at first. And then when she said that they were going to be all right, they all hugged and Eddie was off to the side.
Yep.
And he was looking kind of like, like I'm not a part of this. So
alone.
I was glad that Jax went over there and just kind of,
Hence, hence the title, Lost and Alone. That's how he was looking, lost and alone. And
Lost.
like
Yeah.
you said, um, the music that was playing, all the recaps that they were
Oh,
past. I'm thinking the woman died.
yeah. It was looking that way for sure.
And
It
I was
was. It
worried.
was.
Miss looks on everybody's faces, and I'm like, oh no, she didn't pass.
Always and forever. I was like, oh no.
But yeah, I gotta say they were spot on with the music
They
and with
were.
the actors that they used for the flashbacks. I was like, chef's kiss. Perfect.
Yes. That little girl was dead on Jax. She was
Oh,
so
she
cute.
was. She was.
Yeah. And I want to say that, this whole situation, I'm thinking that Jax is rebuilding trust in Eddie, because I think what you were talking about with the pick and him telling the truth, even though he knew it was going to hurt her, is going to build her trust in him. Because if he's ever called into question and it's his word against somebody else's, I don't know if Jax would be inclined to believe him. But since he's showing signs of being able to tell the truth in tough moments, she might build her trust in him and be able to trust him if that kind of situation does go down, which we still don't know. The jury is out on what this big secret is, so we're gonna have to see. But I think that I think they put this stuff in the show for a reason. I think they're building the audience's perspective as well as Jax's perspective of Eddie. And I will say for Mama Lou, I think Jax did, like you said, Tiffany, she had to give in. And I think that moment when she called her mom was like, look, I ain't trying to argue with you. I'll argue after 8 p.m. But she was like, I'll do it if you come at me, basically. And, Jax humbled herself and she was like, I get it. It's your decision. If you want Eddie to do all this stuff, fine. But at least come stay with us after the fact. She got Spencer and Naima together. The kids now know. And I think that, whether her surgery is completely successful, because we do know she still has to do some kind of chemo after the surgery.
Yeah.
She's going to need that care and that follow-up visits and whatnot. And so we're hoping that she's in the clear. But that in between time, you got to see if the surgery took and if everything is done with. But I think that Jax wanting her to come stay with her, I think that's a happy medium. If you're going to have this surgery, then at least come let us watch over you in case something go wrong. At least you're surrounded by your loved ones.
Let's suppose that Eddie is homeless and he drops it on Jax, and Jax says, "Well, come stay with us." Lewis is going to have a fit.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
still.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw how Lewis was watching, when Jax was hugging Eddie, Lewis was in the cut,
Yep.
side eyeing. I was like, Lord, I was like, please, what is this secret? Because I was like, Lewis is like really in his feelings right now.
And why,
Yeah.
and Lewis ain't one to hold water too long. I'm trying to understand why he's given a lot of respect to Eddie.
Yeah, he's giving him a chance to complain.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because I would have thought he'd say something by now. So he's
But
given a lot of respect to Eddie. So that in and of itself says something.
I
Because
don't
He
even know
don't
if
want to
it's
hurt
respect
Jax.
though. I think it's the nature, like the sensitivity of the situation with the cancer. It's like I can't let this be the news that comes out first, and then throw this other thing on her. That would completely
I
just
would
drain her. I think he's trying to wait for let's get over one hump before we approach another one.
my
I
thing
agree
is
with that.
I would have thought he'd have said something long before.
No, I think he's trying
But
because in all of this, he's trying to protect Jax.
He's trying
If
to
he
protect
throws this
Jax.
on her now, that's
Michael
not
Jackson's going to
protecting.
say, "How long have you known this?" Yeah. So
But
let's
she's in
just
this
say,
crazy, she's in
I,
this crazy uh
exactly atmosphere right
yeah,
now.
well, I mean, yeah, this case is bananas.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, she's also complaining about how the partners are treating her, and we need to go there with the partners.
Mm-hmm.
We need to go there with the partners because I tell you,
Mm-hmm.
at least Bill did kind of stand on business
Yeah, he
I,
this week. With I'm still conflicted with Bill. Bill's
me
still on
too.
the list. But when the partner was saying stuff, he was like, "Listen, her mind's cancer. No, Jack's did it." So he did stand on business with the partner.
he
Yeah.
got off the list as far as I'm concerned because I saw the way he looked at that partner and he was like, "You can kiss with,"
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he did stand on business. He
Mm-hmm.
did.
but yeah. Okay, what was I going to say about?
But he and Sally from the Valley, they need to be on. They need to be on the list. They need to be on the list because he spilled the beans, and Jack ain't even told Sally. And you see, they still hunching. They
Mm-hmm.
still hunching and stuff. And
It's just the way Sally put it. It's just funny. Oh
yeah,
yeah, we
she
still hunching. But we
yeah, they still hunching. But he told her, and I thought Jax, I guess she was so overwhelmed with I thought once Sally confronted her and told her that Bill told her, I thought that Jax was gonna say something to Bill, but she didn't.
Mm-mm. I think yeah, she was too distracted by the situation, and plus, Bill actually was being supportive. He brought flowers to the family. He offered to make a casserole.
Uh-huh.
no
He
no.
got the
He offered to
continuance on the
Uber. He offered to Uber.
Uber
Uber.
eats a
He
casserole,
offered
right?
to Uber a casserole, and he got the case continued. So I was like, okay, he's actually coming through and pulling weight where he needs to. But
Yeah,
that's I don't know. She might address it later on,
yeah,
but I think she was just too overwhelmed with emotions to deal with. It was just too much emotional strain on her.
Well,
yeah.
and
I
that's my
thought,
point though, because if he says anything now, or even if Eddie says anything now you got the cancer, now you got the case, now this. So it's like three strikes, you're out. And so who knows how this last whatever it is will affect her. So it'll be interesting. I can say that whether we
Mm-hmm.
uh
Yeah.
so episode 10, it's going to be extremely interesting, but I'm just hoping and praying that it is nothing so
me
voluminous,
too,
so
me
dramatic
too.
that it ruins her relationship with her dad.
Beyond repair. Yeah, I hope it's something they can recover from.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do, even though Sally and Jax go back and forth, Sally was trying to be supportive. And even what's her name?
Chanel,
Chanel.
Chantel, whatever.
Yeah, Chanel was actually very supportive of Jax in the moment because she was getting ready to criticize Jax for smoking. But then when she heard about Mama Lou's diagnosis, she cooled off and was embracing Jax and giving her the support she needed. So I'm hopeful that whatever Jax is going through, if she lets her friends in, which I know eventually she will, um, as she's going through things, I think she has more than enough support to get through whatever she's dealing with.
Did you catch the similarities between Jax and her mom, Mama Lou? In the flashbacks, it showed that when Mama Lou would get stressed with the stuff, she would go
And
and like
smoke.
sneak a cigarette and smoke and stuff. And I was like, Jax does the same thing. So it just goes to show like how sometimes, you know,
DNA, it can be
yeah,
written.
the DNA, like some of the stuff that we do
Mhm.
is just like our parents, even though sometimes we don't want to be like our parents or whatever.
Yep.
Sometimes we still act like our parents.
Yeah, yeah. So I was just like, all this stuff was Jax. I felt for her this episode because I know how it is when you're so used to being in control to
Mhm.
now having everything out of your hands. It's like you just gotta let go. And you seen the moment where she was just praying and she didn't even know what to pray for, but she was just trying to pray.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing because she grew up thinking that Mama Lou was dragging Eddie to the, to
to
church.
church. Yeah.
And she found out, no, it's Eddie that was, and she said, what did she say? Well, I'm glad, what did she say?
She said, I always thought, I didn't know I got my faith from you,
I
from your side of the family.
got something from him. So again, I think these are building blocks. And I think that, all good will come from it. It's just this last big thing, whatever it is. I just hope that it's not so insurmountable, but they can't overcome it. So,
Yeah, me too. Me
Mm-hmm.
too.
Yeah. Now, let's talk a little bit about Daniel and this whole situation. He got called out. Old girl at the office called him out. I know you messing around with Kristen. And, Daniel tried to justify why he's been sneaking around with her. And she basically pointed out, like, yeah, you did all that, but you really don't got nothing yet.
Yeah, you got some hunches. He
He came
does.
through.
And what I tell y'all about Kristen, I told y'all my spidey sense been tingling about Kristen this
Me
whole
too.
time.
Yeah, Kristen is definitely looking real shady up when you hold her up to that light. I'm like, yeah, she looking real phony.
I
So
still think she likes Daniel, but there's really
Did you see the
something.
end of that? Like
No,
that
no,
guy was getting
no,
ready to
no, no, no.
code
Wait a second.
Alex.
Wait. I'm saying I think she likes Daniel, but there's some stuff going on with this chick because
That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
She could like
oh,
Daniel, but she is shady.
yeah.
Sadie, this chick is dangerous.
Did
That's
y'all see how
that's what
she
I
lied smooth up to Daniel's? Oh, my friend got in a biking accident, just a few scratches here and there. I'm like,
and she
she
said
lied.
he
She
ain't
lied
gonna
too
make
easy. She
and
But
she
lied too
said he
easy.
ain't gonna make it through the night. She talking to who on the phone? Was she talking to Ozzy? I'm like,
yeah, I
I'm
think
telling you, I'm side-eyeing Ozzy.
Ozzy too.
yeah,
I'm side-eyeing Ozzy. They might be in it together,
and
because she was the one
she may have
supplying,
killed me.
huh?
I think she killed me.
Yes, I think she may have done it.
Mhm.
And Monica may have thought it was him, and she tried to destroy the evidence because she's so sprung.
Yep.
Yeah,
So, but Kristen, she's on some,
shady business.
yeah.
Got
Yeah.
awful stuff going on with Kristen. So
And Daniel was good because he went one night and was booed up getting some, and he decided he was gonna check her phone, seeing that all the texts with Alex were deleted, and his little antennas went up. So he turned the location on, which was how he was able to track her to the
yeah,
hospital.
I got face detect on my phone. Yeah.
He did. I
Your
think
eyes
that's what
gotta
he
be
used to access
your
her phone.
eyes
Didn't he
have to
hold
be
it up to her?
open. No,
Oh,
your
you got
eyes have
eyes.
to be your
Okay.
eyes have to be open.
Why you got face attack on your phone?
No. Why do I have face detect?
Yeah,
I just do. But my wife, but she my look for my
men
wife.
always want their
No, no,
phones to
no,
be like
no,
Fort
no,
Knox.
no, no. Because my wife can get into my phone because she has my password. So to
Okay,
get into the phone, I just have face detect because I prefer it. But
okay,
she
Mm-hmm.
needs to get into the phone, she's in. I ain't got nothing.
okay. Because a lot of times men be like with them phones.
Yeah. But Daniel, I think he was very close to finding out the truth because he had that meeting set up with Alex, and obviously Alex didn't make it to the meeting, and they see him all beat up in the hospital. Kristen talking about he ain't gonna make it through the night. The machines is beeping all over the place, and it's like
He was
I don't know.
somebody beat the H out of him, or they hit him with a car or something. Maybe he was on a bike and they ran
She
him.
was, who knows, she might have put a syringe to, she might have put something in his
No,
in
I'm
his
looking at.
IV.
He
I
looked beat
don't.
up though.
No, he was
No, he
beaten.
didn't.
I
No, he
saw the
did look beat up. He did
knots on
look
his
beat up.
face
But
and
I'm
everything.
saying she was up there visiting. Who
Mm,
knows what she may have done
she might have added a little
in the
cherry on
yeah,
top.
she
I
might
just
have
think I think whatever she did to him, I think somebody ran him over. I think that, because the way he looked, if he got hit and, you know, it could have caused enough, because what she said was, I don't think he'll
you
make
know.
it through the night, and he wasn't going to make it through the night because he was already
Oh,
dead.
I think she guaranteed it. I
He
think
was
she
flat
guaranteed it.
he was flatlining. I don't think she did anything like that, but I think she,
Mm. I,
well,
I
I think,
look when we
here's
get
the
to
thing. Here's the thing.
episode.
Because there was already a nurse in the room, so it would imagine you have to say what went. That's
They were in a room
I
after
was
she
just,
left. The nurse was in the room after Kristen left. It
Mm,
doesn't mean she came to visit him and
but
stuff.
that's a stretch. I'm just simply saying, whatever she did, either she got somebody to beat the H out of him,
Yep.
or she ran him over with a car, because that
something.
could be too. But
I think all of the above. I think they had him, something happened to him, and she went up there to finish him off. She probably put a syringe to the IV. She probably just and made sure
what did what do
that
you
he
think she put
coded.
in? What do you think she put in the IV?
Who
Some
knows?
type of drug, some type of stuff to put in the IV to make it look
I just
natural,
don't give Kristen that
to
much.
code.
I don't give her that much. I'll
Christian,
give
I mean, she got access to drugs, and
She
Alex was
does.
good.
She was given what's it called drugs? Ozzy drugs. She
I,
has access, like, and they have money. They have money. Like,
I,
I
Well,
think she gave him something.
maybe I think that with Kristen, this whole situation with her trying to go after Alex might come back and bite her because she might think okay, if he really dies, fine. But guess what? That video is still there. Number two, if he doesn't die, I think he's going to come back with a vengeance. Like, oh, you tried to take me out. Now I'm really about to destroy you and tell the truth. So I think that either way, her time is up.
he was
I think
flat.
Daniel gonna figure it out
Daniel gonna figure
because
it.
Daniel had this look on his face because he just saw her. He gonna put it together.
Yep.
He gonna be like, she said somebody was there for a bike accident. He knows she lied. He
Mm-hmm.
knows she lied. He gonna put, and if he passes, I think he gonna put it together. He gonna get the evidence together, and he gonna know he gonna have to, because old girl told him, was like, you need to tell Jax ASAP about
Yeah.
what's going on with you and old girl with Kristen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he still has Kristen's location without her knowing. So
Yep.
anything that she does from here, he can track her every move. And I think she is gonna get caught red-handed in some mess.
Mm-hmm.
And there's gonna
Mm-hmm.
be no way to refute it.
Mm-hmm.
So I am looking forward to next week. Oh my goodness. I think they are. I think that they're making us wait. They're doing a slow build up to release all of this information. We're not going to find out who actually did it. Maybe I'm thinking episode 9, and then the news with Jax and Eddie. I'm thinking they might hold that out until the last episode.
They might, and I still think that Jax is gonna leave that firm.
At firm,
I think
yeah,
she's gonna end up having to
she
walk
needs
on these
to.
dudes because
Yeah,
they are foul. They trying to be sneaky. They keep trying to come and talk to Bill when Jax is not around and stuff, and telling him, because even when Bill told him that he was going to file the continuance for Jax, the partner was like, "Oh, don't do it for too much time. Let's do it for a couple of days." So he's trying to sabotage.
yeah, and it's like you put in profits over people. He's so darn hung up on this merger or acquisition or whatever that he is not even caring about somebody. She's not even just a regular employee. She is a partner.
Yeah, they're
And you
trying to.
treating her like this, I think Bill sees them for who they are. And although they're trying to lure him into that spot, I think that Bill ultimately is going to read them and see who they are and make the opposite decision.
He
Yeah, because
might.
they're trying to force her out and bring him in. And I think with the situation with his wife and how that went down, and now Jack's, suffering from the information that about her mom being sick, he seems to have a lot of compassion. And I think what he's done is thought about it and said, you know what,
Mm-hmm.
this isn't right. And
Yeah.
I do think that they will. I think the two of them will leave and start a business together.
Yep.
They might.
That's what I think.
I'm thinking too. Listen, it's the last, going to be the last season of Force, so you know,
He got to have something to do with it.
you know, and even though there are some other Power spinoffs coming and stuff, and we will see Tommy again, I'm sure.
Mhm.
But this is an opportunity.
In the
Hey,
meantime, Bill, Billable Bill, could be over here on Reasonable Doubt as a series regular.
here it coming.
So yeah, I'm not mad at that. Which brings us to who can get the hands. And I'm giving Bill the hands. I'm sorry. I got Bill as an honorable mention for game ball. Well, not even for game ball. I'll just give him some kudos for standing up for Jax.
Right.
But you're giving
And
him the hands?
I'm giving him the hands. How he out here running his mouth about personal family matters like that? He told the partners that Jack's mom had cancer. Then he turned around and told
He
Sally.
told Sally from the
I'm
Valley.
like, that is a very personal matter.
You know, Tiffany always be talking about that pillow talk. So
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was pillow talking,
pillow
and I
talk.
guess he thought he assumed because she's so close to Sally that she already knew.
Yeah, I mean,
give him-
Sally, I get because that's her friend, but the partners, you know, they coming for her neck.
Yeah,
Well, you know what? I could have made that mistake myself because you would think that after all the visceral that they keep throwing at her, that they would have at least, settled down when they found out that
Mm-mm.
going through.
They don't mean her
I
no
think
good.
that's why, but I think that's also why, he had a change of heart, which is
Yeah.
the hands. I like to put him. Maybe I'll give him a
The pluck.
no. I'll give him an appreciation ticket or something just to say
Yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate what you've done so far.
He stood on business.
It's still on business, and I will forego the hands this week.
He did run his mouth though.
He
Um,
ran his, I think he had good intent, but he ran his mouth. And you got to
Well,
be mindful of that with such an emotional and personal matter.
I just think he's compassionate enough to,
yeah, because he looked like he was really offended that they were trying to,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
particularly
move forward like that when
1 or 2
Jack's
days.
like in a situation like that with her mother.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
give it 1 or 2 days to get over it. I mean, come on. Yeah. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I think that Bill showed his true self when Jax gave him the opportunity. She was basically saying, I don't want to lose momentum. You take the lead. I'm gonna give you all these tips and pointers on what to do. And he said, no. Like, wait a minute, you whether you take a few days off or not, you're still Jax,
Right.
So that the situation with the trial can wait. Take a few days for yourself or whatever and gather yourself. But when you get back, the trial still is going to be there. You're not going to lose momentum. You're
Right.
Jack Stewart. So I was just like, okay, he could have taken that moment to really be I guess self-serving. He could have taken that moment to put himself into the spotlight.
Yeah, he
take
could have.
over the case. But he told her that I will wait for her return. So I was like, okay, Bill,
That's
you
why
know what? I'm taking him off the hands list. I'm just gonna give him an honorable mention for the hands list for telling Jackson's business.
There you
but
go.
I'm gonna take him off the list.
There you go. Now
he get a plug.
Yeah, the plug. Yeah, because I was going to say that maybe not this week because Kristen needs the seat.
Oh, Kristen.
Kristen needs that seat that Bill was going to get.
Yes, Kristen definitely. I mean, for obvious reasons. I don't even think we gotta tell y'all why Kristen get the hands.
Daniel, the hands too, because he's getting messy. He's getting real messy.
Who?
Daniel.
Daniel.
A little messy. Because he's just like old girl said, he's done something that he could get fired for. So
but he's also delivering some
major stuff. He is.
But how he's getting the information could smear the legal ramifications of it. So
it could.
The ethics, yeah. I hope he doesn't get hurt in the meantime. Because that's the other thing. This is a dangerous situation.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid that if anybody knows that he's onto them,
they might set him up.
They could try to do something to Daniel.
And if she finds out what he had done about her phone,
yeah,
yeah, it could be messy for him. So
Hmm.
give him the hands just for being messy this week. Straighten your act up, man, because you're good at what you do, but don't be messy for some
Mm,
sake.
I'm not gonna give him the hand. I'm gonna give him a pluck too. Give him a little pluck.
He
Because
gets
Daniel is
messy.
coming through. I mean, if
No,
Daniel would have
I
never
agree. I
tracked,
think he is coming through.
yeah, if he would have never tracked Kristen to the hospital, he would have never seen Alex there. Jax would have never known about this whole situation at all.
Just
So he's coming through. He's delivering. I'm not gonna give him the hands.
Right.
Now I was thinking if there's anybody else. I don't know.
Eddie?
Mama Lou, I'm not gonna give Mama Lou the hands. I've been
No,
hard on
not this
Mama
week.
Lou, but she has good reasons for withholding information, and I think she is genuine in trying to protect Jax. So I
Yeah.
was like, even though something could seriously go wrong, I get why she's withholding. So I'm gonna lay off Mama Lou. I'm gonna
What
lay
about
off
Eddie?
Eddie.
Y'all leave Eddie alone. Just leave him alone.
Eddie told the truth. I'm not mad at
Eddie, yeah, Eddie's fine. What about Lewis? You the one been on Lewis' back.
Because
right.
look at him. I agree with what you said. He's sitting down, throwing daggers at Eddie's back just because he got a hug from Jax. I don't like it. I don't. I mean, what? Look,
I like Lewis. Lewis is
Lewis
being
is being
protective of
protected.
his woman and his family.
yes, I
Mhm.
understand that, but there's ways to protect, and then there's ways
Mhm.
because I mean, if you really want to protect her, if you really want to protect her, get to know Eddie. Because I'm gonna tell you, if it were me, he wouldn't see it coming. I would get to know him. We'd
Mhm.
be going out for beers. We'd be going out, and I'd be putting that information hat on, that is, investigative hat,
Mhm.
trying to get to know him, not not arm's length, because
Yeah, because Lewis is showing his cards right now.
exactly you're
Mhm.
showing how you feel, and if you really want to protect your wife and your family about him, get to know him. How do you say keep your enemies close?
Hmm. I'm
That's
not
true.
mad at that thought process. I think that when Eddie gave him that verbal lashing, that was it for
Yeah,
Lewis.
he
He
hurt
was
his
like,
pride. He
"Nah,
did.
we done."
Well, and whatever, and we still don't know whatever it is that Daniel told him.
Right, and the
Because
jury's still out. We gonna see,
yeah,
Ron, if you still feel this way about Lewis once the truth comes out. We gonna
yeah,
see
because
if
we
he's
got to
wrong.
find out what it
No,
is. Because
not.
apparently Daniel thought it was bad enough.
Yeah.
But everybody's bad ain't bad, and everybody's bad ain't worse. It's just and I'm not saying that you know he's angelic. I'm not saying that there's nothing he can do that I won't be bothered by. But I'm just simply saying that for what we see and what he's doing, I like based on now we know the backstory, we know where he's been. Uh,
Hmm.
so from what I see, I like so far.
Hmm. Hmm.
Great thing. I don't know what it is, and it could make me change my mind. I'll say that now forevermore, so that if something is bad, y'all don't have to point at me saying, "Well, see, this your boy." Mm-mm. No, I'm just saying, for right now, for all I know, this is what I'm going with.
Okay.
All right.
Well, that brings us to the game ball. Who we giving the game ball to? I don't. There's nobody to me that is super clear cut, but I do appreciate Jax conceding to her mom's wishes and allowing her to make her own decisions and kind of stepping back a
Yeah.
little bit.
So,
You
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
I go with what you said earlier, though. I'd probably give it to Bill because he did stand,
He stood on
He
business.
stood.
He
I'm
stood
not
on
mad at
business with the
Bill.
partners.
he did, and he seems to genuinely want to, help Jack. So
Mhm.
I give him the game ball, but it doesn't mean he keeps it.
Right. I was about to say.
I mean, well, that goes without saying for everybody, because you
Right.
could be on a
Christian gonna
game
keep the
ball
game
one week
ball.
and game
Christian
ball this 1 week and
ain't
next
nothing.
week.
Ain't nothing Christian can do that's going. I don't know
Oh,
what.
Kristen? Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
she's
absolutely not.
permanent
Absolutely
sister on
not.
the hands
yeah,
list.
she's permanent.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, she's not trustworthy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but I'm not mad at Bill. He did more good than bad this episode, so
Hmm.
I'm not
Hmm.
mad at Bill getting the game ball.
I thought y'all would have had Sally on the game. I mean, on the not the game ball, the
The
hands list too. Mm-hmm.
Hey,
well, she did lie at first. She was like, "Well, Lewis told me that about your mom,"
I
and
was
then
like, you gonna really lie on Lewis? Like she ain't gonna go back and ask him? And that's why she and Jax looked at her like,
and
come on now. Like you really think
you know what? Now that you mentioned that, I am gonna give Sally the hands for that.
yeah.
And you're sleeping with my colleague. It's not like,
Exactly. That's
and then
real
tried to
messy.
justify it. Tried to justify. Oh, we're married, but we're separated, and we
That's real messy.
yeah,
That's real messy. And that can put Jax in a bad situation too. So she's messy for that.
yeah. So you know what, Sally? We gonna add one more to the hands list.
Yep.
Some friend.
Yeah.
So I think Jax is still not done with her. She kind of dismissed her for a second to go get some paper plates or something, but she ain't done with Sally.
Right.
Because
Right.
I told you not to sleep with that man.
So I think for the game ball though, for me maybe Mama Lou because she came out of this surgery and everything, and then going to back to see her past, how she tried to protect Jax and stuff too. Now we have a better understanding of Mama Lou because before looking at her, we're like, oh, this is a meddling lady and this and the other, and why she ain't, now we understand why she was doing some of the things that she was doing.
Mm.
never want to give her the game ball because she reminds me of my mama. My mama, just like Mama Lou.
For me, Mama Lou, I can't justify everything she's done because she's
No, I can't.
been dead wrong on several occasions.
Oh, a lot of things. I don't agree with her with the stepfather.
Yeah. In this scenario, I'm gonna let her slide because I do think that she was looking out for Jackson's best interest. So she can skate by this week.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens next week though. So we're approaching episode 8. I mean, the season is winding down, so I'm thinking these last 3, it's gonna be some major revelations. We're gonna get the verdict of what really happened with Ozzy in this situation, who really killed Wendy. We're gonna find out what the big secret is with Papa Eddie, and we're gonna see where they leave us by the end of this thing, and what happens at the last episode that leads us into season 4.
Exactly.
Because they always give us a little cliffhanger. So I'm looking forward to what they have for us next week. To all the viewers out there, thank you guys so much for watching. Please drop down in the comment section and give us your thoughts on this episode, as well as any predictions that you have for the future episodes to come. Be sure to subscribe to our channel, like the video, click that notification bell, and follow us on all social media platforms at The Spot Real Talk. Also, if you enjoyed this conversation today, please invite your friends and family to subscribe to The Spot Real Talk as well, because we ain't going nowhere. These shows might come and go, but we always switching gears and finding something else to talk about. So if you have suggestions for shows that you would like us to recap, we are always open to suggestions as well. So we appreciate your support. Tiff, Ron, y'all got anything else?
I'm good.
Nope.
All right. Well, on that note, we're going to call it a night. Please make sure you're back here next week for another recap of Reasonable Doubt. I was about to say a recap of The Spot Real Talk.
That too.
All right, y'all. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.